Hello to all of my unbothered ones, and welcome back. This is actually going to be the third installment in the Dark Brotherhoods. Now, if you guys haven't seen 1 and 2, you might want to check it out. Talked about the Freemasons and also spoke about the Skull and Bones. Now, this third installment is one that isn't as spoken about, and they are called the Shriners. They are very, very important. So follow me, okay? Now, who are the Shriners? The Shriners are the ancient Arabic order of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine, also known as AAONMS, better known as the Shriners. Began in New York City in 1870 as a fraternal arm of Freemasonry to foster camaraderie. Much about the Shriners is secret and known only to Shriners, though we do know this order is only open to men who reach the third degree, or are considered master masons. Pleasure without intemperaments, hospitality without rudeness, and jollity without coarseness is a cornerstone for Shriners. Many consider Shriners to be quasi-religious, and though some of the Shriner clothing are uniforms and some designs associated with the Shriners are Middle Eastern, leading some to believe it has ties to Islam. There is no known connection. Freemasonry, shrouded in mystery and conjecture by outsiders, is a social and fraternal organization. Shriners support many social causes, chief among them Shriners Hospitals. Though they should be applauded for their generosity, Shriners should be avoided by Christians due to their connections with Freemasonry. Freemasons do not recognize Jesus as God. Okay? Now follow me. They're big for what? Children's hospitals. Pay attention. Now to take it further, what is the oath of the shrine? Well, the oath concludes as follows. In willful violation whereof I may incur the fearful penalty of having my eyeballs pierced to the center with a three-edged blade, my feet flayed, and I will be forced to walk the hot sands upon the sterile shores of the Red Sea, until the flaming sun shall strike me with livid plague, and may Allah, the God of Arab, Muslim, and Mohammedan, the God of our fathers, support me to the entire fulfillment of the same. Amen, amen, amen. Now, the early growth of the shrine was slow. By 1878, membership had reached 425 in 13 temples. These early Shriners won an unbelievable reputation as tipplers. They referred to booze as camel's milk. Some state Masonic Grand Lodges debated whether to expel any Masons who joined the shrine. By the time of the 1920 Shrine Convention, some of the nobles were voicing their concern at the poor image of the organization. Envy of the Catholic Church's role in building the staffing hundreds of hospitals across the country was an obvious factor in the debate on the proposal at the 1920s convention. Forrest Adair of Atlanta declared, I hope that within 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years from now, we will be impelled from the wonderful work that has been done to establish more of these hospitals in easy reach of all parts of North America. And let it be known that while our friends, the enemy, is now about the only institution that is establishing hospitals and schools and things of that kind for the benefit of humanity, the shrine is going to do them one better. No one in Noble Adder's audience had any doubt as to the identity of the enemy. To allay the fears of the nobles, of the noblesse, another speaker assured them that if the hospital committee did not do it right and devoted themselves too much to Catholic children or Negro children, we can fire them and get another committee. This is according to William J. Whalen, Christianity and American Freemasonry, Ignitus Press, 1958, 1987, 1998. Now, William Whalen is nationally known expert on comparative religion and author of 15 books and numerous magazine articles, and a retired professor of journalism of 42 years at Purdue University. Ever wonder why Black people are treated so bad in the medical establishments? I'll continue. They claim about $300 million a year to hospitals and other institutions, which is good, but not that much. If you consider that if every Mason contributes just $5 per week, they can collect $1.3 billion per year, they are a good way to deceive the outsiders, like its secrecy. It is often a clock to hide its real teachings and goals, and a good way to obtain propaganda, and even the so-called charity is a way to get money for the order. In 1985, circuses of the Shriners, spelled CIRCUSES, generated $23 million, and only 2% went to medical care of children. In 1984, out of $17 million, only 1% went to charity, and the rest went to the order, according to Orlando Sentinel, June 29, 1986. Now, there is no question that without charitable works, the world would be a worse place to live. And that's all the more reason that when they say they give money to a nonprofit group, we need to make sure it's the right one. Now, the American Institute of Philanthropy is one of several national charity watchdog organizations. It recently published its report card on 100 failing charities that the AIP would not recommend you donate money to. And you might be surprised at some of the results. Top failing charities in AIP's estimation. Number 1 is the research to prevent blindness. Number 2, Shriners Hospitals for Children. Number 3, Seeing Eye. Number 4, Guard Dogs for the Blind. Number 5, Cal Farley's Boys Ranch. 6, Diabetes Trust Fund. 7, Give Kids the World. 8, Southern Poverty Law Center. 9, Omaha Home for Boys. And 10, YWCA of the USA&O. It should be noted that most of these 10 charities were given A grades, until, of course, AIP reviewed the generous cash reserves of these nonprofits, and then they sunk quickly to F grades. How does a charity earn an F? Well, one of two ways. First, as in the case of the 10 that I just listed, the charity has 5 or more years worth of money in reserve to cover their program. In other words, they really don't need more money right now, and probably not for several years to come, despite continued fundraising efforts. In the second case, illustrated by the other 90 failing charities on AIP's list, the charity spends too much on fundraising and not enough on program services. For example, the American Institute for Marine Studies. According to our charity watchdog, this nonprofit spent $19 million in a year, but 95% of it wasn't for services. It was for more fundraising. How do they justify that? Well, we couldn't find out. They refused to speak to AIP or anyone else off camera. But that's another story. The final message here is before you give to any charity, use your phone or computer to see what the experts say about it. The sources start with the Better Business Bureau, the American Institute of Philanthropy, GuideStar, our charity navigator. Bottom line, it's not hard to make sure your donation or your dough is being wisely spent. So always check before you write one. Now, these are some testimonies, or one testimony that I am going to give you guys. And I want you to let me know what you think about it, and give me your feedback on what you hear. Now, a Mid-Michigan fraternal organization associated with Shriners. A Mid-Michigan fraternal organization associated with Shriners International found itself at the center of a lawsuit and legal battle involving two things. Now, the lawsuit was filed on June 11th in Genesee County. This was around November the 12th. Well, it was actually in 2012, okay? We're talking about 2012. And it was filed in circuit court by a Nicholas Singelis II. The Clio-based Elf Karef Shrine Temple, along with 11 members, commonly known as Shriners, are accused of allowing illegal sexual activities to take place during an initiation ceremony held November 3rd, 2012 at the organization's Circus Park facility in Vienna Township. Singelis is a former Shriner and former employee of Elf Karef Shrine Temple. According to his lawsuit, Singelis was fired in March after he reported the alleged incident to leaders of both Elf Shrine Temple and Shriners International, the overarching arm of more than 140-year-old fraternal organization best known for its pediatric hospitals and circuses. Anything to attract children, these guys. The claim in the lawsuit is denied by several members and officers of the Elf Shrine Temple. A spokesperson for the Elf Shrine Temple declined to comment on the claims. Singelis also is a defendant in a lawsuit filed March 10th in Saginaw County Circuit Court by Elf Shrine Temple that alleges he was involved in embezzling money from the organization. Singelis denies the claim. Shriners International, in a statement released June 11th, noted the organization is aware of both lawsuits and is investigating the claims. Singlis in his lawsuit says he was terminated from his job as retaliation after he threatened to tell his story to the appropriate governmental authorities. He said in the lawsuit he was told by fellow members of the Elf Shrine Temple to shut his mouth, and that he felt threatened by members of the organization. He said in a letter included in the lawsuit that sources told him prostitutes were hired and had eggs with members of the Elf Shrine Temple during a November 3rd, 2012 event. He said he did not directly witness any acts of prostitution by the organization or its members, but said other members as well as non-members told him that Circus Park, where Elf officers are located, was being used for illegal sexual activity during a Shriner initiation ceremony. The lawsuit states this illegal activity involved members of the Royal Order of Jesters Court number 74 and El Hajj Tassel number 13, two subgroups chartered by Elf Karaf Shrine Temple. I have received numerous complaints regarding these acts from nobles and non-members, stating that not only is this unlawful, it is against shrine law. Singlis says he wrote in a letter to former Elf Potentate Alan Bassner, the organization's leader. The letter is included in Singlis' lawsuit. Bassner denies the claims made in Singlis' lawsuit. Other members also deny the claims. In my opinion, this is just his way of trying to make us look bad, said Ronald Huston, an Elf member who is named in the lawsuit. It's ridiculous. It sounds like sour grapes to me, added Dick Bartlett, director of the Royal Order of Jesters, Court number 74, who is not named in the lawsuit. Now, say what you would like to say about this, but I am in the mindset of actually believing this guy's lawsuit, believing this guy's testimony, but we'll move on, okay? Let's not stop there. Follow me a little further. Yeah, go ahead and follow me because PETA also has an issue with the Shriners. Yes, they have upset PETA. Now, about half of the Shriners member chapters in the U.S. still host circuses with live animal acts. Even while Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey had other circuses, are modernizing and only human-only performances. Some well-intentioned people may think that attending shrine circuses directly benefits children at a Shriners Children's Hospital. But the ticket sales actually aren't charitable donations. Instead, the profits are generally used to maintain the club's premises and fund its activities. Animals forced to perform in shrine circuses live under the constant threat of being hit with bull hooks, weapons that resemble a fireplace poker with a sharp metal hook on the end, and whips. Jay Prates, an expert on animal behavior, wrote a report exposing that environmental and physiological neglect, psychological abuse, and coercion of animals to behave through dominance and fear-based techniques are standard procedures at the shrine circuses that he visited. Since shrine circuses don't possess a U.S. Department of Agriculture exhibitor license, the animals they use are leased from outside exhibitors with lengthy histories of abuse and legal troubles. Here are some examples. The feds have cited Carson and Barnes Circus for more than 100 violations of the Federal Animal Welfare Act, and a PETA undercover eyewitness caught its head trainer on video attacking elephants and instructing trainers to use bull hooks to make them scream in pain. Disturbing video footage shows 2 weak elderly elephants from Camden International Circus struggling to get through a shrine circus performance. PETA released video footage showing animal handler Brian Franzen at a shrine circus performance striking an elephant in the jaw. Now, the USDA cited him for forcefully striking another elephant at least 5 times. Other problematic practices, Shriners accused of misogyny and cultural appropriation as well, right? This is nothing new. Shrine chapters don't allow women to join them, including transgender women, whom Shriners smear in internal documents. Women who want to participate are often relegated to separate shrine-affiliated ladies' organization, which typically require that they be related to a Shriner or a male Mason by birth, marriage, or adoption. Shriners International doesn't have genuine ties to the cultures it imitates, and most shrine chapters have names rooted in racist tropes, such as the Arabia Shriners in Texas, the Muhammad Shriners in Illinois, and the Mecca and Oriental Shriners in New York. Several shrine circuses have included an act featuring bison named Chief and Cody, in which riders dressed in stereotypical imitations of Native American ceremonial clothing pull on long reins painfully hooked through the animal's nostrils. Companies including Sherwin-Williams Company, nutrition company DSM, and the world's largest paint and coatings manufacturer PPG Industries are dropping their sponsorships of shrine circuses. Hundreds of thousands of consensuous people have joined PETA in urging Shriners International to make all its chapters fundraisers animal free. Now, have you had enough yet of hearing about these wicked Shriners? Allegedly wicked Shriners. Is it making sense to you now as to why so many hospitals, are just in serious trouble when it comes down to care, right? Seem to be in serious trouble. But that's not all. Let's get into their initiation practices, because apparently a man sued the Shriners over initiation injury that were exposed in a trial. Now, this particular thing was basically, it was out of Kentucky, from what I recall. It was out of Kentucky, and it was by the Baltimore Sun. Now, being that I am not a member of the Baltimore Sun, I can't pull up the article, but you guys should be able to pull it up. There was a lawsuit because there was some type of shock or something bad going on at the initiation rituals. And as I stated, as you heard in previous lawsuits and testimonies that I talked to you about earlier in this video, and in other videos concerning the Dark Brotherhoods, many of their initiations are involving, homosexual rituals. If you listen to the energy video that I did concerning Celebrities Unmasked, I will have that card going up for you as I speak now. They like to use underage children, allegedly, in these rituals in order to harness the energy. So keep that in mind when they talk about their rituals and why no one else is allowed in. They don't want anyone else to know. And if you want to know why you can only join the Shriners after the third degree, you might want to figure out why that is, because allegedly, after the third degree in Freemasonry, you have to bend over and allow your brothers to basically run a train on you, and it is recorded. So after you've done this, your world is open up to a lot of other new organizations because they know you're going to keep your mouth shut because you don't want this tape out. That's what it's about. Now they have enough on you to move you up through the ranks, and it only gets worse after that. But anyway, peace, love, and blessings, and remain unbothered. Don't forget, subscribe, like, share, and share. And be careful where you take your children for health care. Did any of you guys know this about the children's hospitals?